Dietitian. Today I'm going to be going over some common questions that you may be asked during your dietetic internship interviews. These can either be over phone, which is most common, or they may ask you to come in if you're, one of the highest applicants that they have. So what I did for you guys was I kind of just created this little handout that I'm going to read off of some questions that I remember being asked, and then also some questions that I was asked on some job interviews I've been to lately. I find that they were pretty similar in the job interview questions and the internship questions, so I hope that these will be very helpful for you guys. So just to, get started, you're going to be asked a lot of questions on your expertise. I wasn't so much asked these during my job interviews, but definitely in my internship interviews. I was asked on my experience in the classroom, learning about outpatient clinics and how those work, ICU and nutrition support, so TPN, enteral nutrition, patients diagnosed with eating disorders, and then also some behavioral health stuff, working with patients with depression, suicide, eating disorders again with the behavioral health. So that's going to be fairly common. They're going to ask you what kinds of things you've reviewed in your class and, what things you struggle with. So be prepared to have that kind of in your head. You're going to be asked some kind of technical questions. Now these were ones that I was asked at one internship interview and then at multiple of my clinical dietitian interviews. So the one that I was asked, almost everywhere was, what is propofol? So that is a common sedative that hospitals will use for patients, but the most important key to this drug is that it is emulsified in a lipid emulsion, so there's going to be calories associated with this drug. So, if someone's on this drug and they're also on TPN or enteral nutrition, you'll want to take that into account while calculating their nutrition needs. I was asked what a nitrogen balance study is and to explain its significance for dietitians, what lab values would indicate dehydration, and the lab values in chronic kidney disease and end-stage renal disease, and what things I would look for and what I would educate the patient on, which ones are kind of the most important to be educating on. So you're going to be asked some technical questions, but, these ones I find are kind of uncommon when going through my interview prep, I guess, with my schools. I forget what they're called. The Resource Center for Jobs, whatever. They said that, interviewers are kind of moving more towards behavioral questions, situational things, rather than what do you know, what don't you know. It's kind of how you would react in a situation, because they want to have interns that are the best fit for their location and that have a good match in personality. So some of those behavioral questions that I was asked was, what types of teams have you been involved in with the past? And what role do you usually assume in a team? It is very important to be working with teams and being a team player if you're going to be a dietitian, because if you're really into the clinical stuff, you're going to be working with doctors and nurses, the respiratory team, CNAs. There's a lot of teamwork involved. Tell me about a time when you were part of a team that was struggling, and what did you do as a result? So again, think of your STAR method in this situation. You want the situation that was happening, the tasks that you performed, the actions that you did, sorry, I kind of forgot on that one, the actions that you performed in that situation, and the results. The results are the most important thing, so that they know that you are an effective leader and that if a struggle does come along, you can have a change in it. So tell me about a time when you received negative feedback from your manager or coworkers, and how did you handle this? Now, I've been told that in some places you want to provide people with a weakness that's really a strength, like you just work too hard. But, it's really important to just remember that we are all humans. Not everybody's, monthly review, annual review is going to be perfect. There are going to be things that you struggle with and that you need to improve. So in this case, I think that honesty is truly the best policy. Think back to, like a college job review that you may have had at like your grocery store that you worked at, or at a bank or something like that. And you just be honest with them. So give me an example of when you were faced with a stressful situation, and how did you cope with this situation? They're going to ask you this because, the entire internship is going to be stressful, and they kind of want to know how you're going to cope with that, and if you're still going to be able to make rational decisions and you're not, just going to clam up into a ball, or you're just going to, run away. Tell us about a time when you identified a problem. Who did you report the problem to? Were you involved in the situation, and what was the outcome? Now, this is going to be important for jobs, but especially for the internship, because you're going to be doing 2 quality management projects, and that's all about identifying a problem in the place, who you're going to report it to, what kinds of things are you going to do to fix it. So, it might be a test for some of the assignments they may have for you, or, just to see what kind of person you are. Let's see. Another one was, how did you manage multiple priorities or deadlines? They just want to see if you multitask, or, if you are a one project at a time kind of person. So everyone makes mistakes. Give me an example when you made a mistake and what was the outcome. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Give me an example when you were in disagreement with a coworker, and how did you resolve the differences? Again, they just want to see, that you're a team player, and, you're not just in it for yourself and for selfish reasons. It's going to help you work as a team when you're doing your clinicals and, your food service. Kitchens really, really need to work as a team. So just working with coworkers in a respectful way is very important. So I guess just some general questions that you're going to be asked. I'll give you examples from the latest clinical interview that I had. So it said, here at Denver Health, so insert your internship's name here, we often have our own individual responsibilities as well as responsibilities to the team. How would you balance that workload? Do you foresee any issues with some possible situations you may be exposed to here? So keep in mind that you are going to be, if you're in clinicals, you're going to be dealing with blood, diseases, you have to get an annual flu shot, just kinds of things like that. You're going to be seeing some pretty crazy things, especially if you're in the ICU. So just be prepared to deal with some pretty interesting things that you may not see otherwise. What is your availability during the weekday, holidays, and weekends? This one is, I'm not sure how other internships work, but a couple of my rotations, I had to work at the nighttime. It was in the evenings and at night, but most of it was 9 to 5. You will be working some weekends. You might be working a holiday because, hospitals don't close for Christmas, so keep that in mind. Let's see. They're also going to be asking you what you know about their internship, about their specialty, what is their concentration that they offer to the interns, so make sure that you know those and that they are a good fit for you. If this place, has a concentration in oncology nutrition, but you really want to be, a food service manager, it might not be the right place for you, and you kind of need to take that into consideration when you are applying for places. And you really want to put your best foot forward and make sure that the internship is the best fit for you, because they are looking for the interns that are the best fit for them. So just some little tips I can give you guys that one of my favorite professors gave me was, if they want to schedule a phone interview, that means that they're fairly interested in you. But what she had told us was, if you think you know this phone number, or maybe you don't, and it's during the DICAS application times, let it go to the voicemail. That way, when you answer the voicemail and you hear, oh my gosh, it's UNC calling me for my interview, you can prepare yourself. You could say, well, in 1 hour, I'm going to call them back. I'm going to have a good lunch, I'm going to get ready, and then I'm going to call and be fully prepared. You do not want to be caught off guard. So maybe during this time, during the DICAS applications, you can be a phone screener and just let everybody go to voicemail so that everything can be planned out for you. That's probably one of the biggest tips. Also, during your phone interviews, a tip I was given was to dress up in your business attire, your best clothes. Pretend like you are going to your first day of clinicals and dress up like that. I did this for my registration exam also, to be an RD, because it kind of puts you in that mindset of acting professional, being an RD, pretending like you're in that field. If you're in your PJs, you're going to be in a different mindset than you are if you're in, your cute little business suit, or, just in like a nice button up and a tie. So keep that in mind. Also, make sure you know where you're going. Some places, the dietetic office may be in a completely separate building than the main hospital or community setting. Make sure you know which office you're going to, which building. Maybe scout it out before on Google Maps or drive over there if it's close, just to see what you're doing. You might get a Skype interview, and again, just dress appropriately. Make sure that there are no distractions in your room. Lock your dog up in the other room. Don't have your cell phone with you. And if you have like a phone interview or a Skype interview, these are one of the best things that you could have, honestly, because you can have everything on your table out in front of you. Your resume, your personal statement, some of the big projects that you worked on, your MNT syllabus to show which things you reviewed in class, what diseases, what community programs you may have worked with. So I would just say be prepared for your interviews, act professional, dress professional, even if you're not seeing them face to face. And I think you guys are going to do great. If you got an interview, it means that you are one of the top applicants for them. So just get excited, be confident, and just kind of keep in mind the tips that I gave you.